A man gets a call telling him that Rendell Locke is dead, and he tells the caller that he knows what to do. This results in him inserting a key into his chest and burning the house down with himself in it. On the table there is some kind of paperwork and research. 3 months later, Nina and her 3 kids, Bodhi, Kenzie and Tyler, are moving. It seems that something traumatic happened in the place that they've left behind. This is the Locke family, and they're moving to a town called Matheson, to a massive house called Key House that has been in the Locke family for generations. Their uncle Duncan greets them as they arrive, and he takes them on a tour of the house. The mom Nina has a memory of herself painting when someone, a student called Sam, says that he needs to talk. He wants to know about Key House, but Rendell, her husband, tells Sam that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Sam has a gun and he shoots Nina in the leg, and there's a struggle. This is the traumatic event. Sam killed Rendell Locke and harmed his family. Bodhi is taking a tour of the grounds, taking photos, and he ends up going to an old well. He shouts down into the well asking if it's his echo, as kids do, but this time the echo actually answers back yes. It's kind of like if your shadow decided to take a life of its own. He tries to tell his family about it, but they just think he has an overactive imagination. It's the first day of school for the 2 older Locke kids. Kenzie is sitting on her own, eating her lunch, when Scott from the ice cream shop comes to keep her company. He invites her to some get-together with some of his friends. Bodhi goes back to the well, meanwhile, to explore, and he tries to get the echo to answer him. She tells him about keys that are all over Locke House that he needs to listen out for, because they whisper. These keys can help transform your looks, transport you to other places. One of the keys in Kenzie's bracelet whispers out to him. He says that he wants ice cream, and he uses the key on a door that magically opens up into the ice cream shop. Bodhi finds another key and he tells the echo all about it, and she tells him that someone has to have seen a place before to be able to go there. That's why Bodhi was able to go to the ice cream shop and Kenzie wasn't able to go to Paris because she'd never been there before. Then with the next key, Bodhi finds his mirror self in the mirror. His mother eventually gets stuck in the mirror, following her own mirror self. He tries to get help from the echo, but she ends up stealing the key from him. The other 2 siblings come home and Tyler goes into the mirror to find their mom, and they end up saving her, but afterwards the mother doesn't remember anything about what had just happened. At the end of the episode, the echo goes to visit Sam, who's still in prison. Sam, if you'll remember, is the guy who shot Rendell Locke. In episode 2, Bodhi tells Kenzie that their mom can't remember because she's an adult. He goes exploring and he starts hearing whispers again and finds another key. Ellie, one of the neighbors, comes over to introduce herself. Her son is the groundskeeper Rufus, who strikes up a friendship with Bodhi. She also teaches part-time at the academy. She was also friends with Rendell. Ellie sees an old photo of the group of friends and she looks really shaken by it, as though it's brought back some unpleasant memories. One of the English teachers, Joe, mentions some kind of tragedy that happened to Rendell and his friends back when they had just graduated high school. Tyler has a memory of his dad, Rendell, the guidance counselor, asking him to be friendly with Sam, who was a bit of an outcast in high school. Nina asks Ellie about the tragedy, and Ellie says that 3 of the friends in the group drowned in the sea cave after graduation. The echo comes back to visit Brody and tells him that he needs to find more keys. She's getting really threatening in her quest to collect all of the keys. Nina also asks Duncan about the drowning and why Rendell didn't talk about it at all. Duncan doesn't really remember anything. It's as though he tries, like there might be something familiar, but he can't seem to conjure up any memories. Bodhi eventually puts the key into the back of his neck and his twin shadow self starts moving around as though it's him. In episode 3, Bodhi invites his siblings into his head. It's colourful, chaotic and kid-like, but also comforting because their dad is there telling Bodhi a bedtime story. We learn that Tyler feels guilty because he joked about killing his dad once to Sam. Kenzie tells him that she wants to go inside her own head, so they decide to both go. Her head is a weird, retro, but also kind of futuristic mall. They go into the memories of her dad, but they're suddenly ejected from the heartwarming memory and taken to a scary one outside of their school and then back at the house in Seattle. And something attacks them. It's Kenzie's fear. It's a scary, decaying, banshee type of creature. Nina and Ellie go out to dinner, and Ellie is visibly shaken when Nina mentions that Bodhi loves hanging out with his imaginary friends in the well house. Bodhi finds another key that allows him to become a flying ghost. We see Ellie go into the well house and she calls out for her high school sweetheart Lucas. Nina is looking in Rendell's yearbook and she finds a horseshoe symbol that Sam, who shot Rendell, also had tattooed to his wrist. Kenzie kills and buries her fear as the echo looks on. In episode 4, Kenzie is feeling better after having killed her fear. She's up early, cooking breakfast, she's coloured her hair. Tyler's worried that Kenzie is being odd and she tells him it's because she took out her fear and buried her. He thinks it's not a great idea because this magical world is a world of unknowns. Nina asks Ellie to help her talk to some of Rendell's old friends, but she says she's the only one in the group left. One member is in a psych ward, and another died in a house fire a few months back. The women discover a hidden room in the basement of Key House, and it looks as though Ellie is low-key searching for something down there, but she tries to hide that fact from Nina. The Echo goes and visits the lady in the psych hospital and Rendell's ex, Erin. She wants to get into Erin's head. Bodhi asks Rufus about the well house, and Rufus says that his mother doesn't let him go there because bad things happened there. The British used Key House as a base during the Revolutionary War, and they would hang defectors in the well house. Kenzie invites Scott to Key House. He's such a lovable goof. He's talking a lot. He's kind of awkward and funny. She shows him how the head key works, and she takes him into her head. He's freaking out a bit, but she shares some of her memories with him. It's sweet, actually, and they kiss. Echo Lady comes back to the house. She's angry, and she wants the head key. She kidnaps Bodhi. She can't take the key from him though. He has to be the one to give it to her. She goes back to Sam then and gives him a key. He needs to prove himself to her though by doing something for her. In episode 5, Tyler and Kenzie find another key in the piano and it opens a music box. Anyone who puts the key into the music box can make anyone else do anything on command. The siblings all decide to split the keys up among themselves for safekeeping. Kenzie suggests using the key to get back at one of Scott's bullies. She commands Eden, the bully, to fall on her face and embarrass herself. Kenzie tells Gabe about it as well, and they both kind of go overboard with it. Scott is starting to feel uncomfortable because they're going too far, and he walks away. Nina notices a scar on Ellie's clavicle, and Ellie says that she got it as a kid from falling off a bike, but Rendell had the exact same scar in the exact same place. Turns out the group of friends branded themselves. Gabe is taken by the power of the keys. He and Kenzie are laughing about the fact that the video of Eden humiliating herself kind of goes viral. Bodhi tries to get Duncan to try and remember him and Rendell playing with the keys as kids, but Duncan can't remember anything. Tyler and Kenzie find another key and light jars with memories that are in them, and one shows their dad knocking out and possibly killing one of his friends. Nina gets a message from Joe telling her that he's found something. When she goes to find out what it is, she finds him dead in his house. Ellie is at the bottom of the house, meanwhile. Kenzie shows Duncan some of his memories and it makes him feel disoriented and sick. 1 second later, he doesn't even remember seeing the memory. Kenzie tells Tyler that she wants to go down to the caves to find out what really happened. Echo Lady comes back and she tells Bodhi that whatever's coming will destroy his family. Then we see Sam lighting the prison on fire and escaping using the key. Kenzie and the film group go down to the sea caves to film scenes for their movie, and so that Kenzie can explore the caves a little bit more. That's where she finds another door with a blue light coming out of it. The rest of the group is in some danger. The tide is coming in and they'll have to leave their equipment and swim out. In the end, Scott and the group are disappointed and kind of over her recklessness. She ends up making out with Gabe, who is the one who sticks by her. Echo Lady goes to a house party and ends up hitting on Tyler. And at the end of the episode, we see that Sam has arrived at Key House. In episode 7, we get a memory of Sam getting into trouble at school. He seems to have had some behavioral issues that Rendell was helping him with. While in the office, a painting of Key House whispers to Sam and he becomes drawn to the house. In present day, he breaks into Key House. He has a gun and he's snooping around and he points the gun at Nina. Bodhi transforms himself into his ghost self to try and help his mother, but he can't. Sam wants the head key. He keeps them all hostage in the house until Tyler is home because as a stall tactic, Kenzie told Sam that Tyler has the head key. Echo Lady's name is Dodge, and Tyler is in the car with her. They're fooling around, and then he finds a key in her car and realizes who she is. He uses the key to escape and transport himself home. Back when Sam was in high school in Rendell's office, Dodge had asked him through the painting to look into his file, and it looks as though Tyler had been giving his dad Rendell feedback on his time with Sam. And as a result, Sam felt betrayed, and he was ripe for manipulation by Dodge. Bodhi and Kenzie, meanwhile, are in the woods because she'd said that the head key was buried there. She ends up digging up her fear that was buried there. Tyler uses the head key on Sam, who apologizes and says that he was just trying to help Dodge. She gets to the house and tries to get the head key from Sam. While she can't forcibly take the keys from the Locke family, she can take them from anyone else, so she takes the head key from Sam. Sam decides to use one of the keys to go into the ghost realm, and the police close the door, kind of accidentally trapping him in there. At the end of the episode, Nina breaks her sobriety with a drink. Somehow Lucas, Ellie's high school sweetheart, has been brought back to life and she's hiding him in her house. Nina, who has been drinking in secret, is peppy. Too peppy, and the kids are suspicious. Tyler smells alcohol in her breath and he's looking for her stash. He knows how her relapse cycle goes. Ellie comes over to apologize to Nina. Kenzie and Gabe have become pretty close, but Scott comes over one day to check in on Kenzie and he sees Gabe there. Lucas comes out to meet Bodhi and Bodhi senses a weird vibe about him. Kids always sense these things. Nina is also now able to remember everything about magic, but it seems to be a side effect of her drinking. Dodge wants the Omega Key and she thinks that she can find where Randall hid it. She's going to use the head key to look for it in Erin's head, Randall's ex-girlfriend, thinking that he probably told her its location. Kenzie and Tyler go down into the caves, and after seeing that there is a list of keepers of the keys and that most of them are dead, they decide that they need to warn Erin, just as Dodge has gone into her head. Dodge finds the location of the key in Erin's head. Erin tells Kenzie then that Dodge is actually Lucas, and now he knows that the Omega Key is in Rendell's head. Tyler and Kenzie find the Omega Key in Rendell's ashes. In episode 9, we see 3 months ago when Lucas came back to Ellie around the same time the Lockes moved into the house. At the time, Lucas had asked Ellie for help. So she breaks into Locke house and steals the crown. She takes the crown to Lucas, but he needs the Omega Key as well. While they're talking, Joe takes a photo of them. He's confused because Lucas is alive and he still looks the age he died 15 years ago. Ellie and Lucas follow him and Lucas kills Joe. Ellie tries to kill Lucas, but he can't be killed. He threatens her son Rufus, so Ellie ends up being threatened into doing his bidding, basically. Kenzie confronts Ellie about helping Lucas. By the way, Kenzie's fear monster is stalking around town, terrorizing people that Kenzie is afraid of, so Eden. Ellie tells the kids that they all found the door in the caves. After opening the black door, these blue bullets came out and one of them hit Lucas. He said he was fine, but obviously he wasn't. He became very violent and killed some of the group. So to save the rest of them, Rendell killed him. They made up the story about them drowning as a cover. It seems as though something from behind the black door latched onto Lucas. Ellie explains that she was the keeper of the Echo Key, which helps bring people back. She couldn't move on with her life and she decided to try and bring Lucas back. But she brought back basically a demon in a Lucas skin suit. By the way, Duncan saw Rendell kill Lucas in self-defense, so they had to wipe his memories, and that's why he can't remember anything. Ellie explains that they can't kill Dodge, who is an Echo, by normal means, but she can be trapped in the well house. Whoever has the Shadow Crown and the Omega Key controls the shadows, and they will do whatever the Crown Wearer commands, like forcing a demon Echo into the well house to trap it. Lucas eventually gets the Shadow Crown and he puts the crown on. In episode 10, Nina goes out for coffee with the cop who is working on Joe's case, and they talk about sobriety and how they manage it. She wonders whether her move to Matheson with the family was a good idea. The kids are waiting for Ellie to come back over with the crown, but Dodge comes instead and she summons shadow demons. The shadows come into Key House looking for the Omega Key, and the kids find out that light scares them away. Bodhi stabs Dodge with a weapon fashioned out of the matchstick key and she appears to self-combust. They see her on the floor though, without the crown. It's the shadow that was killed and that had melted away. They decide to try and send her body back through the black door using the Omega Key. But that's a risk because something might escape from the black door like it did with Lucas. They bring in reinforcements to help them take Dodge's body down to the sea caves. They manage to toss Dodge in and lock the door, but one of the bullets might have hit someone. Scott tells Kenzie that he doesn't want to be in her throuple situation with Gabe, but they can still be friends. Rufus is on his way to the hospital after being attacked by Lucas, but he's going to be okay. Ellie, his mom, is still missing though. Nina tells the kids she's thinking of selling the house, but the kids convince her to stay. They like Matheson now. The kids eventually spread Rendell's ashes, and it looks like it's going to be a peaceful happily ever after. Kenzie and Gabe are still dating, but Gabe isn't Gabe. He's actually Dodge. Dodge, meanwhile, transformed Ellie's face to look like hers, so the kids actually pushed Ellie into the blue void behind the black door. Also, while the door was open, one of the bullets hit Eden. So now Gabe and Eden are the evil pair who are about to wreak havoc with the Lockes. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.